saw it, we could hardly believe it.
As a scientist, it was very surprising.
So when the results came in, I was like, wow.
When I saw the data, I couldn't believe it.
This was completely unexpected.
February 2012. Researchers at the prestigious North Carolina Research Campus Human Performance Laboratory make a startling discovery. One that answers some important questions and opens the door to even more. One of the premier institutions for studying metabolites and their importance to human health is at the prestigious North Carolina Research Campus Human Performance Laboratory. Dr. Niemann, the Vice President of the American College of Sports Medicine.
We have a national reputation for testing various sports nutrition products and their effect on performance and exercise-induced physiologic stress. We have several universities that are here, including Duke, UNC Chapel Hill, NC State University, and we're working together with various companies, Dole Foods, General Mills.
And so in late 2011, Dr. Niemann and several other PhDs carefully crafted a scientific study. A study designed to measure the effect of ASEA on metabolites, the fingerprints left behind as a result of cell metabolism.
It's a double-blinded study, meaning that we as the investigators had no idea who we were assigning to what condition, an A condition and a B condition, but we didn't know what those were.
We drew blood samples on the athletes after they had taken ASEA or placebo for a week. That was just before they cycled 75 kilometers, and then we took another blood sample after that, and then an hour later.
They found chronic results, that is, results that happened before exercise, simply from drinking ASEA.
We didn't think that drinking ASEA would shift metabolites chronically. We thought it would do something during exercise, but not after a week of drinking it. We were able to determine that drinking ASEA over 1 week caused a shift in 43 metabolites. Not a little shift, it was a large shift that caught us by surprise.
The data revealed shifts in 43 metabolites, something these PhDs had never seen before.
Many of the metabolites were related to plasma-free fatty acids. So the athletes actually started the exercise after drinking ASEA with a lot more of these free fatty acids in their blood. The reason that's important is then the muscles will actually use that as fuel, sparing the muscle glycogen and the use of amino acids, which is what we found as we analyzed the data. Drinking ASEA for a week caused this increase in free fatty acids. Every understanding from the literature is that these probably came from the fat stores in the abdominal area.
Metabolomics, the ideal tool for measuring the effect of supplementation on the human body, revealed astonishing properties of ASEA. Simply drinking ASEA for 7 days mobilized fuel stores in the body, fuel stores that almost certainly come from abdominal fat.
These are extremely important data, and we look forward to doing further research.
Welcome to the stage, Dr. David Niemann.
I'd like to share with you some of the data that we've collected. We didn't even know about ASEA about 1.5 years ago when we were approached, and we're learning more and more about what this drink does to the human body. When you exercise heavily, you have different things that happen in the body. There's oxidative stress, there's inflammation, there are immune changes, and so I look at nutritional countermeasures. ASEA asked us to do a complete composition analysis of the beverage. We needed to do this because we needed to know what is in the drink and then have what we call a biologic plausible pathway to explain some of the findings we're going to share with you. Here are the data. The most important part of this finding was that peak there and this peak, beyond any doubt in the minds of the scientists that we work with, indicated that there are signaling molecules that have been captured in the drink. And the predominant one is a superoxide. This is a reactive molecule that does create signaling in the body. and that scientists will say it's very likely that these signaling molecules are doing some of the things that we're about to show you. It's a very unique part of the beverage that, frankly, the analytic chemists that we work with are surprised at, that somehow these signaling molecules, which typically are very transient, have been complexed and are in the drink. Now, every time you exercise or when you eat something, there is a metabolic reaction in the body. And if you look at each dot, so first let's take a look at the blue dots. That's when we had some athletes drink placebo. It was a placebo. They didn't know if it was ASEA or not. The blue is when they drank that every day for a week. And then the red is when they drank ASEA every day for a week. Each dot represents a cluster of scores of metabolites that were measured in the body. Athletes drinking ASEA had what we call a metabolome, or a cluster of metabolites that were distinctly different than when they didn't drink ASEA. And then when we exercised those individuals, you can see there that the red represents when they were on ASEA, and then the gray is when they were on placebo. There is not only a pre-exercise difference, is that this drink is bringing fats out of what we believe is the abdominal fat area and making them available to the athlete before they even get going. Then the muscles will use those fats and spare the carbohydrate that's in the muscle, allowing the person to go longer. So we set up a study with 6 men, 6 women, and in random order, we do everything randomized, placebo, double-blinded. Doing that with 12 people, they came overnight, fasted in the morning at 7:30. We took a blood sample. We put a catheter in their vein. Really, the big finding is in these 12 people, that's the 12 people when they're drinking placebo, the same 12 people 30 minutes after drinking 4 ounces of ASEA, there's a significant shift. And this is what happened an hour and a half later, and this is what happened 3.5 hours later, and then this is the next morning. And we got some great studies lined up to help look at all that. After having done a lot of this, we decided that we had to set up an animal study, and we theorized that those fats should mean that when you exercise, whether you're an animal or a human, that the fats would be used sparing the carbohydrate in the muscle, allowing exercise to continue at the same pace for a longer time.
So like Dr. Neiman said, when we saw the metabolomics data with the humans and we're seeing the fatty acid shifts, we started to hypothesize that maybe this would affect performance. So what we did was we took 4 groups of mice, and two of the groups got ASEA treatment and 2 of the groups got placebo. And within the ASEA group, 15 of the mice were exercise endurance tested, and then we also had a group that was sedentary. So they were working out about 80% of their VO2 max. And then we just let them stay at that speed until they couldn't go any longer, to see how long they could go at that intensity. And here's the data from that. So the red bar is the placebo group. We now know, and again, we were blinded to this when we actually did the study, so we didn't know what group was taking what. The placebo group, they were running just, between 45 minutes and an hour at that speed, and interestingly, the ASEA group that we now know, they actually were able to run about 29% longer. Their rate of glycogen usage was about 33% lower than the placebo.
Thank you, Amy. That study is a big deal. It really is. I mean, mice just don't run 29% longer for nothing. So the fact that they went 29% longer on ASEA is a big, big deal. We now know, using the most sophisticated scientific equipment available, that ASEA does have these signaling molecules, and especially a superoxide complex that is reactive. Another thing is, and it was also unexpected, but within 30 minutes of drinking ASEA, you will see small molecules being formed and shifting in the body, and it happens that quickly. We now know that if athletes drink ASEA for 1 week, that they have a shift in 43 different types of metabolites, and that especially it's the molecules related to free fatty acids and energy intermediates that are shifted. This is the beginning of this road of scientific discovery for this company. We're very pleased to be a part of it. We're looking forward to all the new studies that are being planned, and we hope to share many other data with you as we continue taking a look at this drink. Thank you very much.